confidence comes in all shapes and sizes, as cliche as that sounds, because if you're just being honest and so sure of what you're speaking, people will perceive that as this guy knows what he's talking about. This girl knows what she's talking about. Confidence.
Well, Sam, thank you for joining me on the EP Debrief. And for those of you who don't know, this is Sam Kiley. She is a corporate in-house planner. I'm going to pass it off to you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I feel very goldfish in a ocean right now, but I'm Sam. I am a corporate in-house planner for a financial institution in Southern California. I manage all of our internal events for over 500 team members. I also handle board travel, offsites, any corporate incentives. That's all me.
Well, I'm excited to have you on this week. Obviously, as just you all know, and everyone who's listening, this is where we take some sort of pop culture moment that everyone can relate to and bring it back into the world of events. And this week, I'm pretty sure everyone has watched this, which is Legally Blonde, but then also the prequel that has came out, Elle, which is fine, you didn't watch it, but I did. And you have context. Everyone has
Tell
context.
me why when I watched the movie, I didn't realize all those references came from that movie. Mind you, I didn't realize it came out in 2001. And then it was like the intro to the song, the bend and snap thing. I was like, oh, that's where it came from.
Wait, did you not know?
I didn't.
My God.
Yeah, I kind of selected this theme knowing the overall theme, but I didn't realize what a pop culture icon truly Elle Woods was. I knew
Absolutely.
she was an underdog in the world of men, but she's an icon.
Okay, so for everyone who obviously has at least watched the new Elle show, is the prequel of Legally Blonde, which shows us into the world of Elle Woods in high school. And we see the story of her actually moving to Seattle. It's nice to kind of see her, one, be put out of her comfort zone, right? I think everyone can relate though in high school where like everyone's very judgmental. You're not sure about your place.
Yeah.
Who's your crew? You have your crew, but you're like, wow, like I feel like everyone's always judging me. Like
Yeah.
you see a lot of that happening in the UL. And then you really see her find her confidence as like the episodes go on, all of these trials that she has to like go through as a typical teen. But then someone who's watching Legally Blonde, you kind of see how that kind of transitions. And you see little snippets of her lawyer moments where she's trying to do stuff as a high schooler, like getting a stop sign up like near the high school because there was like a car
She's
accident that
always
happened.
had it in herself. She just didn't know it.
Exactly. We always had it in us, but we may still be discovering it right now, or just didn't have the confidence back then to really own it.
Yeah.
So I'll pass it off to you, Sam. What are your first thoughts on just when you watch Legally Blonde, who Elle Woods is, why you love her as a character, and kind of what are all those like relatable moments that you have?
Yeah. Her in general, her tenacity to do things I can relate to because I actually got into the events industry by accident. I was going to school for facility management thinking I was going to be a property manager of some sorts. But then my degree, I needed an internship. My internship landed me in the executive office as an administrative assistant. And from there, my boss led our foundation. So we did a lot of community events. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And it just kind of landed on my lap, which kind of doesn't happen. Which I feel like Elle's first case in the movie landed on her lap because the person she was representing was a Delta Nu person. So I was familiar in doing things too. But when I officially got handed my first team event, I didn't know what I was doing. I could reference source material. I could see how it was done, but I don't understand the why behind it. And then I feel like when Elle led her first case, she's like, she knew the vocabulary. She knew the whole thing, but you just need an Emmett, the associate that believed in her. You just need somebody who believes in you to bring out what you already can bring to the table. Actually, scratch that. I was the table. I set the standards. So I think with Elle finding herself, that's what I related to the most. And I think you need people like Emmett around you to kind of just give you a confidence boost. Because yes, imposter syndrome is real. Because I was always surrounded by people who were smarter than me, who knew their jobs well than I do. Like I was just a support person. I was surrounded by executives, by C-suites, by senior leadership, by the board, and everybody was twice my age. I was just very like, I'm gonna be a fly in the wall and let me know when you need me. But
Totally.
but Elle was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go for it. And I kind of wish I had that Elle spirit in me in my younger years.
I actually like the reference that you're Emmett because I think some people don't realize they do have an Emmett in their life
Hmm.
and they kind of oversee some of the friendships that really are important. I feel like I was an Emmett before and I feel like I have an Emmett, if that
Hmm.
makes sense at all.
Yeah.
Like I definitely for sure was the Emmett, but then there was a certain point where I wanted to be like the L. The
Yeah.
I want to start like taking risks. She's very savvy with like using her resources too,
Hmm.
for sure. And like being creative about that.
And she
And
follows her intuition, something I do admire because if you remember the movie, in the beginning of her first class, the teacher asks something about who said this quote, and it was Socrates. And then the teacher was like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. And like the teacher was making you doubt an answer you already know. Like that's me. It's like, I'm so sure about it. But then like external forces got me thinking like, wait, did I submit my list in? Did I turn everything in? Did I say this already? Like the answer is always yes, I have done it, but I don't know, it just makes me doubt myself.
I mean, this just actually happened to me. I definitely know what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. But then even like if someone's saying, hey, like did X project get done or did, whatever invoice get turned in? I'm like, yeah, for sure it did. And like, are you sure? And then you start second guessing yourself and you're like, wait, I don't know. Like maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe what I'm
Yeah, like
saying like
I
is
know I
wrong.
turned in the payment. I gave it to accounting. Like, are you sure? And then I like double check and I was like, yeah. And then I was like, it's not me, it's them, but it's making me feel like it's me
Yeah.
waiting
And I
on
think
them.
that's where I think I really love Elle's character in both like the new and like in Legally Blonde is because she's just like you were saying, she's very just confident and sure of herself. And I personally really struggle with like being that confident person, which I know probably surprises you and it surprises a lot of people
Yeah.
based off of what
Your discussion posts are always golden. I was all like, whoa, I'm like reading like top tier material right now. Where I didn't know I could do that on Excel.
honestly, here's the thing, like, and I appreciate like, you know, appreciate that, but like it terrifies me every time I push posts, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is,
Well, you're
it
so great.
terrifies me.
Even on LinkedIn, I was like, you capture me as an audience. I wouldn't
Thank you.
have thought you were like an introvert or like you're telling me you're an introvert, but I see you
I'm
as
the
an
craziest
extrovert.
introvert ever, like honestly.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I say the same thing about myself. Like, I am an introvert and I can make myself be an extrovert when I need to.
Yeah.
Especially when I attended my first planning session with the board. I didn't know how to engage them in conversation when I first started. I remember a board member was like, so that debate last night, I don't think so and so. I was like, I didn't watch the debate. I didn't know there was a debate. I didn't know it was the election coming up soon. I was like, how's your
I mean,
wife?
honestly, fake it till you make it, right? Like, I think in those situations where I've definitely been in conversations of, I don't feel like I belong in the room or I don't belong at this table, I
Yes.
don't belong in
That's
whatever
I think that's
meeting,
a correct
is
people do it now.
very, why am I here? Why did I get invited? What the hell are you even talking about? And I'm just there,
Yeah.
right? We're just like nodding our heads. And I
Yeah.
think in life, though, and what L shows is that if we push ourselves out of our comfort zone and push ourselves into those tables and into those conversations and try to find our voice, and it's not going to be perfect the first time. You see that with her. I've
Yeah.
experienced it where I've 100% annihilated what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But I think it's like those practice makes perfect things. And I think it goes back to the things I'm posting on my own personal and like LinkedIn. I'm not going to be perfect at first. And I don't think I'll ever be perfect, which is totally fine. And I think as humans, as also event planners, where we want everything perfect, we have to learn and accept that there's going to be a certain point where we just be like, you know what? It is what it is. We've done our best. And we just have to either be proud of the work that we did or
Let
really
it eat you
that's it.
alive.
Yes.
Or like, you know, when Elle went to the party and she was dressed up as a bunny, and then like she saw Warner and was like, they were talking, and then he didn't believe she would get the internship. You just don't think I'm good enough for you. She did everything that was like in his list of qualifications to basically be his fiance. Her confidence is top tier. I wish I had that. And then she locked in, and I was like, good for you, girl.
Look, we all have the confidence in us. I think we just have
Yeah,
to
lock in.
allow ourselves the vulnerability.
Correct.
I think that's the scariest and hardest part. It's easy to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do all these things.
And I was like, yes, every time even with public speaking now, I can public speak. Like, I like speaking, I like talking, I can yap for hours. But if I rehearse what I have to say and when I got on stage and I forget, I don't want the people to know that I messed up because they don't even know what content I was going to give them to begin with. They'll just take what I give them at face value and they wouldn't even know nothing went wrong unless I acknowledge it and I out myself.
That's something that I know I struggled with in high school. Different though, like in the like real world, like when we like passed high school, we're like, you can like it's fine if you do it, but then like you learn the skills to like somehow make it so people don't even realize the internal panic that is actually happening.
You
And
know, in
that kind of
our learning development plans for school, they said, what type of leader do you want to be? A word that I learned that has stuck with me for the longest time is equanimity. It's the mental calmness during incredible stress. So I want to like keep a mental composure during stressful situations, but at the same time, I want my external composure to match how I'm feeling inside. I don't want to be like boiling hot panic inside, but I'm like, no, everything's good. Everything's cool. Like, I want
100.
it to be like equal. Like, okay, vendor didn't show up. Okay, let's pivot what's happening instead of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Who's my backup? I also believe in the saying, the one who wears the crown must bear its weight. Leadership does have a responsibility. You can't show your people that you're panicking because how they see you act is how they're going to react. So yes, I do have to stay calm in those times, but I also want myself to stay calm. I don't want to just be calm for other people. I want to be calm for myself. Mental health too is very important, especially in events. It's very stressful. People know I'm in like meeting and event management. I do events for work, but I'm mainly admin. But then they're like, oh, Sam, can you help me plan my wedding? I was like, no, I don't. I'll
Unless I'm getting
attend.
paid for it, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
A long time ago, my cousin, he DJs and he wanted me to help plan his album release party. And I was like, I like planning for events for work. And he's like, don't worry, I'll pay you. I was like, it's not even about getting paid. It's just that corporate events is all I know. I'm used to like a corporate budget.
Yeah,
And if I go
totally.
over budget, it's okay. So if my cousin asks me to plan his album release party, not because it's a budget thing, but it's like there's more at stake.
I have those exact same boundaries too with friends and family. Like, I'm sorry, like, I love you, but it's
Exactly,
not
yes.
gonna.
Yes, I will support and maybe, like, do something, but I'm not gonna be responsible for managing your event.
Well, let's pivot a little bit
Mhm.
because I want to go start with the new show of Elle, which is in high school, and talk about what did your early career look like?
Yeah.
And obviously, like hers in high school, we see early Elle versus Legally Blonde Elle in Harvard and doing all this law stuff. What's
High
early
school
Sam in the
Sam?
events world?
Oh my gosh, if I could just give high school Sam a hug and be like, girl, everything's gonna be okay. I think she was very lost. High school Sam. You could influence her to do anything. She's very gullible, but I also feel like she liked hanging out with her friends. And then I went to community college while all my other friends went to UC Riverside, UC Irvine, Cal State, like all the universities. And I felt like I was getting left behind. So while everybody else was starting sororities or joining clubs and then social media, this was the early stages of social media. There was no plot. We were using social media as intended, where it's like, this is what I'm doing in the moment. Now it's like you're planning things. And I always felt like I was missing out. I was working part time and going to school part time, and I also paid for all my college. So I ended up staying in community college for 5 years because I was paying my way. And also, I got lost a little bit. That extended like year and a half that I spent at community college led me to where I am now because it's that program that made me get that internship to my current role. High school Sam was lost, easily influenced, was always watching what she didn't have. Do you know Blackpink?
Yes.
Do you know
Oh my God.
Rosé? Rose has this song on the ground because the theme covers success, searching, and realizing what truly matters in life. And when I first heard this song, I was like, this is literally me. Because even when I made it in the executive office, when I accepted the fact that I'm not pursuing facility management anymore. When I transferred into Cal State and pursuing business management, and I was like, oh, look at me. I made it in the executive office, but then I hit a ceiling. I was like, the lyrics goes, funny when you want it, suddenly you have it. You find out that your gold's just plastic. So it's like what I thought I wanted wasn't it. And then when I finally achieved my goal that I set, I was literally like, now what? I worked my whole life just to get high, just to realize everything that I need is on the ground. Because if you listen to it, I was all like, yeah, this is everything I thought I wanted. I got it. I did it. Like I locked in, I Elle Woods it and I got it. I made it to the goal I set for myself 5 years ago. Now I hit my glass ceiling. And then I guess there's also a Disney movie. When I was sharing this input with my cousin, she was like, yeah, that reminds me of this Disney movie where like they work so hard to achieve it. They achieved it. And they're like, now what? Like I realized that where
Yep.
the destination wasn't tied to like happiness. I thought I was going to be happy. I thought I was going to be satisfied. But when I got there, I was empty. I was like, me.
It's one of those things where I've had multiple moments of that, and I had to pivot my way of thinking where it's like, here's my goal. I will be happy once I hit X, right? I think we all have
Mm-hmm.
that like thought. And instead of thinking that, because I always felt disappointed whenever I hit that point. And it
Mm-hmm.
was the now what? Now what do I do? And instead of seeing it as like, here's my goal and I'll be happy at this point, or I'll be happy if I make X amount of money, I'll be happy.
Mm.
Insert whatever dialogue you want to add there, whatever your end goal is. And I feel like that sets us up for like disappointment every single time because we always circle back to, okay, now we hit it. Now what
Mm.
are we doing with our lives? So I've changed my way of thinking where it's, what is my, what do I want to achieve this year that will help set me up for success for the next year?
Mhm.
And that's where I stop my thinking of, here's my goal and I'll be happy at this goal. It's what can I achieve this year that's realistic that I know will keep me pushing forward. The one thing I don't want to do is make steps backwards. When I shifted my mindset in that way, I no longer felt disappointed every year or every time I hit like a larger milestone. It wasn't, oh, great, I did it. Now what? It's right now, this is going to help me achieve this next phase in my life. And it continued this story. Then I confidently was able to say, well, this now helped set me up for success for this pathway. After that, here's kind of where I kind of see my life going. I think that's where I had to bring myself down to earth in some of
On the
my
ground.
expectations
Mhm.
was what can I actually realistically do this year? That's kind of how I pivot. I don't ever want to set myself up for failure or disappointment because I feel like I did that a lot in my early career. I appreciate the confidence we had back then.
The tenacity.
I I even talk about this with my friends. I'm like, man, as reckless as I think we were in our like high school, college years, our confidence was like through the roof.
Mhm.
Like
We were also
nothing can
very
stop that.
audacious. Like, I didn't second guess myself in high school if you were I don't think I was gaslittable back then where it's like, "Are you sure?" And we're like, "Yeah, I'm sure." You will not waver my confidence back then, even though I was easily influenced, but in other things, but I was sure of myself. But now
100%.
it's just like, "Oh, did I?"
That's the thing that I wish we can bring back. And that's where I feel like I'm trying to channel like that old version of me of like that confidence, really sure of himself, didn't really care about people's opinion. Because in today's world where we are having to put ourselves out there via social media, LinkedIn, things like that, it's like terrifying. When did you stop trying to prove yourself? Or are you
I
still trying?
think actually, no, you know what? When I turned 30, I spent my 20s living like I was in my 30s, so I'm spending my 30s living like in my 20s. When I turned 30, the feeling that I had in myself internally and externally was how I thought I was going to feel when I turned 21. They put such an emphasis on turning 21, like, ooh, you're X, Y, and Z. But when I turned 21, nothing happened. I was waiting for this like moment to happen that never came. But when I turned 30, I had a stable job. I was traveling. I was doing all the things I feel like that milestone marker of 21 did. So I feel like when I turned 30, that is when I stopped caring. Also, in my 20s, I was very frugal. So when I turned 30, I'm not saying everybody should do it, but like I was financially free. I don't think it had anything to do with age. For whatever reason, in my time of life, when I turned 30, I felt at peace. I felt like I had a secure job that I feel needed in that job. Like I didn't feel replaceable. Like, yes, they could replace me, but not to the caliber of my work. Saying that out loud now, like I do believe in myself. I know I could do it, but my responsibilities at work, my personal life, my social life, I just had it going on and I like didn't care what people would say when I have a small group of friends that unintentionally like judge my spending habits, but I'm all like, girl, it's my money, it's my time.
Well,
I get to
yeah,
choose what I want to do with it. We are in completely different situations. Like all my friends are married. I have a friend with a child on the way and I still live at home. And that's how I'm able to afford my lifestyle is because my car is paid off. I live at home. I live a mile from work. All my family and friends are like close to me. So yeah, once I realize, again, the Rose song, everything that I need is on the ground and I truly could control. It's not like freedom to choose what is best for you in all aspects. I felt that's when I truly got to know myself or whatever the question was.
stop trying to prove yourself.
I stopped trying to prove myself to anybody. And also, like, I like dressing up for work. Dressing up for work, like Elle, I don't know, I just feel better. There's this saying where my CEO likes to say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
You
I'm
have to
technically
stop
his
saying just
assistant.
support too, by the way.
Correct. Correct.
I was
I
so
need
guilty
to
of doing
eliminate
it.
that from my
You have to
vocabulary.
remove the just word because we are crucial
Yeah.
in those roles no matter what. Like I know I have lead roles sometimes and sometimes I am support, but without us, the
Yeah.
project or whatever it is
I
does.
saw a LinkedIn post about executive assistants. They're like, they're not just assistants. They are the ones that thread things together so that everything looks seamless. You don't know everything that's going behind the scenes. Like I'll give an example. When I did our family picnic last year, we did it at this like very this local park. Their event planner who I worked with on their end I was like, is this your first job? I'm used to working with people with more experience than I am. I've never been the one with more experience. Because when we first met, I was like, I want this family picnic to feel like a family friendly Coachella. You know, granted, I never got the Ferris wheel because of permits and insurance, but like we got bounce houses and XYZs. And then I wanted this like 60-foot or 30-foot rock climbing wall. And it just took her so long to, like, respond back to things. But, like, long story short, my communication with the venue was so bad, but the event turned out so well. Nobody knew. And that's all that mattered to me at the end of the day because I was in a very sure place in myself. I knew I did everything that I could given with the things that I had to work with. And I just put my best foot forward. And I was like, how come I can't feel like this every time things go wrong? Where it's like, I know I did my best. The event still turned out well, even though the journey to get to the destination was a little wonky. It was very, like, very Odysseus, but he still got home. The event still happened.
You make a great point though about how like you clearly have found your like defining moment in life of just being sure of yourself, not only in your personal life, but like in your professional life as a planner. And I internally was giggling when you said like, wow, like I never thought I was gonna be the one with the more experience like in a situation. And we do hit that point in our
Yeah.
career where you're like, wait, I'm the one always asking for help. And what do you mean now I have to like really navigate this? And it is a one confidence booster. I think
Mhm.
100%. But it definitely tests every like aspect of how like DIY savvy can we get with this? How
Mhm.
creative can we think outside of the box? But then also I think to our like peers, our leadership and our bot, like, they can handle, they can pull off what they said they were going to pull off, plus some, whatever the extra cherry on top is. And I think L proves that in our life.
Mhm.
I've had definitely defining moments in my career where I'm like, how am I the most experienced person in this like situation? It's
Yeah,
kind of
and
weird.
to me, I like being like in the middle of the mid and the high. I want to be like right there. I don't want to be in the lower tier because you always want to learn from somebody.
100%. Well, and that's where I think in our current grad program right now, the mentorship thing, I personally really like it because I can go to someone who isn't even in the program, who isn't in my work, someone very different, but can still give me all the guidance that I feel like I need. I think they did a great job, at least with my mentor. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, it's very chill.
Okay, we're gonna get into the 60-second rant, so start preparing yourself for that. But before we go into that, what is the biggest misconception that you have about confidence?
The biggest misconception about confidence, I feel, at least to me, it's very cliche. Confidence comes from yourself and not others. Similar in a way where happiness isn't a destination, it's yourself. Because I think my confidence came from an external reaction. Like I got more endorphins or whatever chemical that is. I felt better. So I felt good. I felt more open. So, whatever monumental moment happened to me in my 30s, confidence to me is the freedom to choose a decision without having to second guess it, without having to doubt it. A simple example where over the summer we planned my grandma's 90th birthday. Being in events, I could have just wanted to take over the project, but it was a democracy. I kind of didn't like it, so I took a step back. I was confident in themselves that they could handle it.
What I feel like the biggest misconception about confidence is that it has to be loud.
Mm.
And confidence doesn't always have to be loud. If you speak up, it means you're confident. It means you have something to say. It means that people need to listen. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes people are speaking too much. Sometimes need to shut them out. And
Mm.
I mean that in the nicest way possible, but that doesn't mean you're confident. It doesn't usually those are the most insecure people that I have worked with. And for me, I still am confident in myself. And I'm not saying one word on a call because someone else is taking over because they think if I'm loud and I'm this and I'm presenting in a certain way to a client, then the client's going to trust me and I'm important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one of the bigger misconceptions that I have seen time and time again in our industry, where I'm just because they're loud don't mean anything to me. Don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
I for individuals like ourselves who may be a little bit more quiet, who may just take a back seat and just digest the information first. I think we have more confidence going into that scenario because at the end of the day, the person who's blabbering their mouth, who do they turn to? Usually us. Hey, so what was that thing? Hey, can you do this so that we can turn it in? And now it's a we because it was a you thing up until now the call ended.
Yeah.
And that is one of my biggest pet peeves too with people.
The biggest misconception in confidence for me, I feel, has nothing to do with the external people. It has something to do with you and how you carry yourself. It matters not, like you mentioned, how loud you are. It's the reassurance in yourself that you could do this. Like you said, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room because at the end of the day, they're still going to come to you. It's your knowledge. It's your way.
What I believe you're trying to say, at least what I'm gathering here, is that your confidence stems from the reaction that people give you. So if they are giving you this positive reaction of whatever you're doing, whether it's just being at home with your family and they're laughing at whatever joke you're doing, or you're at work and you presented something and your boss is hell yeah, I think that adds to that glass that we're slowly filling up, our confidence glass. I feel like you really connect with the energy that surrounds you. And I'm very much that type of person. But tell me if I had that completely wrong.
No, that's correct. Because I
Okay.
feel like confidence is energy and energy is the room. And I can't always rely on the room to give me energy, to give me confidence. A confidence is yourself. And I feel like once you know what you're talking about, you know what you bring to the table, confidence is you. Confidence is your knowledge. Confidence is the information you already know. You just need to speak, talk about it. Confidence also isn't verbal. In email, I speak to a lot of vendors. For example, my upcoming offsite, we're going to a new property. I was like, I need 3 technicians to plug in a thing. I was like, I could do that. I still don't know anything about AV, but it's also being confident in how you present yourself. Because I responded back and I was like, is there a much simpler sound system than this? I don't need a 10-channel board for a lavalier. I told you I'm just going to need a projector, screens, confident monitors, power sources. Why are you quoting me $60,000 for
Because
this?
they're trying to make money at the end of the day.
Yeah. Even their tone changed a little bit. I feel like once I like broke down that barrier, I was like, oh, I kind of do know what I want. I think they're so used to people not knowing how AV works that they're like, oh yeah, no, you need this system so that it sounds better. It's like, no, I don't need 10 channels. I need one
Yep.
lavalier.
It's
That's all I
common
need.
sense.
I broke down that barrier and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, no. Since that's all you need, the conversation got more casual too. So, like, don't let them intimidate you. That's where the confidence comes back up. It's like, you know your event, you know what you need to do. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't let them get you. Because once they have an inkling of you do know what you're talking about, I got it down to like $35,000. Because no, I don't need a 10 channel mixing board for a lavalier.
All right, we're gonna pivot to the 60-second rant. This is essentially the part of the show where you get 60 seconds, no interruptions. I'm like, we've been great at going back and forth. But what's something in the event industry that you wish people would stop doing or finally start doing? And it could be like something within the industry or planners themselves, vendors that you're working with, and kind of, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it there.
Don't let
So you know,
vendors intimidate you. You are the table. You set the table. They work for you. You're paying for them. Don't let them tell you what they think your event should run. You tell them how you want your event run so they can adjust to your wants and your needs. Because again, they work for you. You're paying them. You are the table.
damn,
That's it. You are the
that's a
table.
rock. And that's okay. So then let's circle back to the debrief in
Mm,
a sense of everything we've been talking about, starting with Elle Woods, kind of, being this like very confident like character on in her movie and like even in like the show, but then tying it back to who we are as event planners, why we relate, and kind of what I gathered from what you have said so far. And it's going to sound so cheesy because I'm sure I can word this in so many other ways, but like honestly, like kind of believe in yourself type thing. Like it's very Disney for me to say, but like I think if you don't believe in yourself, I think you're gonna struggle, and I think that's the reality, and people don't really talk about that. One, how do you expect to grow
mhm.
if you're not putting yourself out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, I also feel like you need to be wary of who you surround yourself with because sometimes when I meet up with friends, it's kind of depressing to talk about everything that's going wrong about work. I'm like, yes, it's our venting session and all that stuff, but like you go to your circle, like it's just so depressing. But so you also need to do things that you like to boost yourself up. The world tells us to be kind, to have empathy, but like sometimes you just aren't feeling it. You gotta take that 10% for yourself and be selfish because you deserve sunshine too. I might have gotten it from Heated Rivalry. It was my reminder to be like, you can be selfish. It's okay to be selfish. Take that selfishness and don't let people bring you down over it.
Here's the thing, like people will say it like, wow, like I've been told by my family, I've been told by friends, I've been told by many people, Chris, you're being selfish. Like,
Mhm.
okay. And like literally,
Yeah.
like it used to bother me so much. I used to just say yes to everybody.
Hmm.
And the day I started saying no and started doing things for myself because it made me happy,
Yeah.
all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, how dare you? You're being selfish, you're being all these things. I'm like, well, you only feel that way because I no longer am spend using my energy to make
Mm.
you happy, which doesn't serve me
I'm
well.
not gonna fill your cup.
Exactly. That's funny. Okay, so another question. This one I think we live today. How do we build confidence without pretending to have all the answers?
When you, oh, how do we
And I can start.
build? Yeah, go start.
I was like, I could definitely start on this one. So for me, it's being vulnerable and honest. It
Yeah.
allows me to have true conversations with people, still know what I'm talking about, but then also still be vulnerable and say, like, I actually don't know how to answer this, or I don't have a solution for you. I've learned with clients, internal like stakeholders, that if you try to fake an answer, that does completely the
Yeah,
opposite.
you kid correct. Yeah, how I build confidence without pretending that I have all the answers is being completely honest. Because, like you mentioned, if you pull something out of your ass, people will know, and they will know that you're full of shit. So if you just speak honestly, and I feel like sometimes, again, people, you yourself, are blind to your own confidence. And I think that's what I was trying to allude to earlier, where confidence is also like the energy of the room around you, is because they can perceive you as confident. You won't feel confident, but you gave confident vibes, confident energy. And so confidence is energy. Tagline.
It is. I mean, honestly, it is. I mean, damn good tea. That's what I'm trying to portray every day. And
Yeah.
every day I feel like I get more comfortable with the uncomfortable.
And you mentioned earlier, confidence doesn't need to be loud. Confidence comes in all shapes and sizes, as cliche as that sounds, because if you're just being honest and so sure of what you're speaking, people will perceive that as this guy knows what he's talking about. This girl knows what she's talking about. Confidence.
Bam.
Let's bring the table back.
Let's bring it back. Now we can bring out the glasses, pour the wine,
Let's set the table.
cocktails, whatever your choice is. If Elle Woods planned an event today, or for you, or for that kind of exists right now, what type of event would she plan and that she would crush?
I would love for Elle Woods to plan my all-team event, my all-team appreciation event, because
Okay.
I feel like she'll take everything into consideration of all the stakeholders. Who am I planning for? My team. Where I'm having my team event this year? Disneyland. Actually, California Adventure in the Grand California Hotel, but same thing. And I
Nice.
just feel like there's so many different activations that I just could see her like sprouting right now. All the characters, she'll just go all out with it.
I immediately went to like a dog, uh, like a dog to dog event. I feel like that would just be gold. All of it. Her partnered with Lisa Vanderpump. Yo, that would be like the dog event to go to. Tell me that, like,
Yeah.
yes, that would be it. Anyway, one word that describes today's conversation.
Oh, one word. The second word that came to my head was table, if I'm being honest. You decide how to set the table because, again, you are the table. So it's how you, like Elle, she presents herself in a way that gets her underestimated. She's the underdog. So if you dress your table nicely, as long as you feel good about your table, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because you're the one
Exactly.
eating in it.
100%. I totally agree.
This whole podcast has confidence, table, energy.
It's gonna be titled Confidence Table Energy.
With Elle Woods.
Listening and like, what the hell are they even talking about? Like, there's just like nothing I can relate to. Well, I actually did like really enjoy our conversation. I think
Yeah, I did
people don't
too.
really talk about confidence a lot. You and I think perceive our confidence really stems from something a lot different from what other people like perceive it to be. And I think also it could be how we were raised. I think being a Filipino background, Asian background, like, our confidence it really stems from somewhere. We really have to like stand out in
Mm-hmm.
our family in
Mm-hmm.
some way.
And something about a Filipino family, it's like if you didn't make it in that industry, it's not good enough. And
Yo,
then
and
suddenly
you're,
you make it in that industry, like, oh my, no, my niece and my nephew too. I'm all like,
I
now
mean,
you're
look,
proud.
barely our final, and I'm saying like just now, but like the last 5, 6 years is when they really started taking my event career seriously. Like, oh, you
Like you actually
can do
do,
things.
right.
You do make good money. You
Mm-hmm.
do. You can actually make a true career out of this because,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't blame them. I don't blame
Mm-hmm.
other people. And I think anyone who was out there like listening, I think need to understand that events is more than just throwing parties,
Correct.
weddings. It's so much more than that. And I think once you find your niche, and I would definitely say explore all of those like outlets early on because you don't want to waste your years trying to figure out what you want to do. Figure that out earlier if possible.
We digress.
Thank you, Sam, for joining me on this back and talking about Elle and how we can relate and kind of the whole topic of confidence and how people can be more confident in their lives and especially in their career in events where we can be easily annihilated by vendors and stakeholders.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Don't let them intimidate you. You are the table.
And you hear that, everyone.